play. Georgia's second loss of the season snaps a 7-game winning streak. We send you to Mike Morgan and Mark Wise at Neville Arena.
Welcome everybody to Neville Arena here on the campus of Auburn University. He is Mark Wise. I am Mike Morgan. It is the 77th consecutive sellout, and the Auburn Tigers looking for their first conference win of the year against one of the better surprises in the SEC this year so far, Buckyball, the Aggies, led by head coach Bucky McMillan. First trip is an empty possession for the Aggies as you take a look at the starting five, and conspicuous by his absence, no Tahad Pettiford in there tonight. He will certainly play plenty of minutes, no injury, but for now he is replaced by Caden Magwood in the starting five. For Texas A&M, it'll be the familiar starting five, although they have a ton of production off the bench. The starting five is led by Rashawn Agee, who's coming off his 6th double-double of the year in a victory against the LSU Tigers. Griffin finds Agee on a beautiful dime, and the Aggies strike first 2-0 Texas A&M, and then a steal by Griffin, the former member of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Quick three on the way from Dominguez. Back iron no good, and Auburn grabs the rebound. It's Magwood.
Mike, I hope you like your action, 94 feet, and this is part of Buckyball. Pressing at all times. After makes, after misses, they'll give you different looks, trying to create havoc and getting you to play out of system.
Pressing, trapping, trying to make you uncomfortable. Pretty hard to make that man uncomfortable. One of the top scorers in the SEC, Keyshawn Hall, but he's way off on the jumper. Lane, drive and dish. Here's Agee, the ageless veteran, going to work. And then throws it away. Auburn 2-on-1, and a quick steal on the other end by Griffin. Great hands. Dominguez. And too strong that time for Jakari Lane, so a little bit of helter-skelter pace here. Kick out Overton. He's had the hot hand lately, and he continues to remain red hot as he drains the triple.
Nice job by Magwood, though, to get in the paint and attract defenders.
Happy 22nd birthday to Kevin Overton.
So this is part of the challenge, I think, that Stephen Pearl has given his team after the game at Georgia. He wants better on-ball defense. Don't get beat off the bounce.
Tough shot off balance by Marcus Hill, the transfer from NC State.
Deny the inbounds. Sometimes they will trap. Sometimes they will double back and run and jump.
How does Auburn attack it best as you see another three launched?
Well, I think you have a decision to make. If you're going to play A&M under Buckyball, are you going to beat the press and attack, or beat the press and set it back up? I know Stephen Pearl, he wants to attack.
Yeah, we asked that question specifically, and he said, nope. When we go after it, we're going to try to attack it. Great hands and a steal by Hill. The pilfer, the shot, and the miss. And fighting for the rebound, but his back hit the baseline. That is Magwood, the freshman out of Louisville.
Take another look after the steal, the miss, and then Magwood, who just ends up laying out of bounds. That's an easy whistle. Well, this is the kind of start you would want if you're Texas A&M on the road. 4 steals already, and you're up 3 in the first segment.
That's an insane number. 4 steals in less than 3.5 minutes.
Well, they average 9.6. That's third best in the SEC.
Dominguez and Lane playing catch on the perimeter. Lane left alone for 3, and he says, I'll bury it if you give me these. Jakari Lane, who shoots 34% from downtown, the senior out of Huntsville, Alabama.
Confusion defensively by Auburn. That happens way too often.
Magwood will set it up in the half court. Tenacious defense by Texas A&M. What they lack in size, they make up for in quickness. And an air ball fired up that time by Magwood. And that'll give everybody a chance to catch our breath. Just what is Bucky McMillan First-year head coach, one of 3 in the Southeastern Conference, did a terrific job at Samford, won 3 SoCon titles there before having an illustrious high school career. Bucky Ball, that's when it was first mentioned and given a nickname when he was coaching Mountain Brook High School. Mark Wise, what exactly is Bucky Ball?
Share the rock, over 21 assists per game, knock down threes, press at all times, and we're going to show you a little bit of each. The press, it might be in different kinds. It might be man-to-man, it might be a quick trap, it might be a run and jump, but they want to either force turnovers or make you take an unpracticed shot. And then lastly, they shoot 33s a game, make more than 11 a game. Bucky Ball, defined.
Bucky Ball was a sensation at Samford. Really put that program on the map in short order. He took that job with 0 college experience as an assistant. As the foul is drawn and a trip to the free throw line for the Auburn Tigers and a guy who lives there in Keyshawn Hall. But one of the things that Bucky was telling us the other day is, the fact that he coached in high school so long as opposed to doing the typical path, it helped him because he was allowed to experiment. He was allowed to trial and error. When you're a ops manager, a videographic guy, any type of low-level assistant, you have no say in anything. You're just trying to move up the ladder, but he was able to run his high school program in such a way that he became an attractive candidate for the Samford job.
Yeah, his laboratory, if you will, in terms of experimenting, was coaching 90 AAU games a summer, as he was also doubling as the high school coach at Mountain Brook. So when I asked him last week about the genesis for this system, he said it developed over the course of time.
Lane trying to hit Vincent on the alley-oop. And Vincent, the former Texas Longhorn, will go to the free throw line. A&M, both these teams actually, A&M and Auburn, go to the free throw line a lot. So you can expect to see both up-tempo and plenty of trips to the line. As you see Vincent at the line, and we can see Tahad Pettiford has entered the game for Auburn. So the talented sophomore guard out of Jersey City, New Jersey, averaging 15 points per game. He is now into the lineup for the Tigers.
Came off the bench in the Georgia game, went for 25, but he has really struggled shooting the basketball here in the friendly confines of Neville.
It's the most unique split I've ever seen for a college basketball player. Almost all of them shoot better at home versus away.
And you heard me ask Stephen Pearl about it.
Yeah.
And he said, I've got no explanation.
There's nothing to...
Here's the home numbers and the away numbers.
Who doesn't like the home rims? Well, the answer is Tahad Pettiford, apparently. Plays much better away from the friendly confines of Neville Arena. 4-point game, nearly 5 minutes into the action. Pettiford whips it over to the far side, into the hands of Overton. Overton launching, the former Red Raider, kicks off the iron, and the rebound reeled in by Pop Isaacs, a very valuable member of this A&M squad.
Not a good possession offensively for Auburn. The ball never moved.
Lane feeling it. Lane has it in and out. Offensive rebound. Aggies shot up, no good. Another offensive rebound. Carving up space, left-handed hook shot is good. That is Zach Clements out of San Antonio, Texas, the former Kansas Jayhawk.
We both liked him the other day. We had the LSU game. He is so long. His length is impressive. See, that's got to go in. That's a good shot if it goes in.
Hall is 40% from behind the arc, the third leading scorer in the SEC with his first bucket. Isaacs. Rise and fire. He got Pettiford to leave his feet and then buries the triple, and here comes the pressure.
Nice little ball fake that time. Those floating passes against Texas A&M, you are asking for trouble. A&M ran a flare screen for Isaacs. Pettiford gets over. Keep your eye on Isaacs right here. They run a flare screen for him. The ball fake, he has time to square. It's just good execution. It seems simple, but it's so difficult to execute at times.
You see the assists per game for A&M, 21.4. That's second in all of college basketball. For a time there, they were number one.
how about a little zone, if you will, a little 2-3, part of the buckyball package defensively.
Pettiford, rise and fire, got it. The mid-range is silky smooth for Tahad Pettiford.
But I believe that's one buckyball will live with because it's a low percentage two-point shot.
Dominguez, contact, no whistle, but he splashes the three. Ruben Dominguez, who's 12th in the country at 47% from downtown. Jovic leading the break. Finding Overton, hangs and hits.
But
one of 3
pace,
lefties in the starting lineup.
This pace is all A&M.
Oh, yeah. Driving, losing it, and maintaining possession will be the Aggies.
A&M in transition. Dominguez, Mike mentioned 47%, just curls off a pin down. Watch him square his shoulders. He's so quiet. I think he got fouled. I thought Hall was in his landing space.
Certainly looked like it. No whistle there. Dominguez, who played all his ball in Spain. No college basketball. He comes in as a 22-year-old sophomore. His first look at college basketball, when you hear Coach Bucky McMillan talk about it, he raves about what he's brought to this team from a leadership standpoint. So is this guy, who's carving up space and goes high off the glass. Count the basket. That was just bully ball, not Bucky ball, but bully ball from Rashawn Agee.
The only thing I'm wondering is, did Jovic get into the cylinder of Agee? Watch, here's the displacement. And see that arm coming down? That's a good call. The left arm came down.
Agee with a double-double and some clutch plays in that victory against LSU that came down to the wire just a couple of days ago. It's a 8-point lead for Texas A&M. Four-point play opportunity for Keyshawn Hall.
I don't know why this foul has become so popular this college basketball season, but you just have to stay away from the shooters. Challenge. Your challenge has to be at an angle. It cannot be at the same angle as the shooter.
Mark, you and I have said that last year.
Yes.
I don't think it's just this year. I'm amazed. You see it even at the NBA level. There's a skill in contesting without fouling that has become lost on a lot of players. 4-point play for Keyshawn Hall, who now leads all scorers with 9.
We told everybody, hey, you're going to love the offense in this game.
Oh, this is going to be a whole lot of fun all night long. Drive and kick, open triple, too strong, and a whistle down low.
Now this is a good call. Freeman pushed off. So many times, Mike, that air ball is the hardest rebound to time because rebounding has a timing element to it, and when it doesn't hit the rim, that disrupts that timing.
No carom means no dice very often on the defensive rebounding side of things.
So the question becomes the shot clock here.
Well, the ball didn't hit the rim, right? So can't be at 29. Now it's at 20.
Yeah, I think it's a 20-second reset on the foul.
Isaacs triggers it in to Marcus Hill. Lazy pass and a steal. All the way, Freeman. Elijah Freeman out of West Palm Beach, Florida.
And that one-handed pass is not going to get you anywhere tonight.
Quick hands again by Auburn. And it's going to be Aggie basketball, but terrific hustle by Jovic. Everybody fired up. There's no lack of intensity. We've only played 8 minutes and change, folks. Aggies leading it by 2.
Back-to-back possessions. First, the Dominguez 3-ball. And then on the other end, Keyshawn Hall measures the 4-point opportunity.
11 minutes, 48 seconds remaining in half number 1 here in Auburn, Alabama. It's another sellout, the 77th consecutive for the Auburn Tigers as we look at buckyball and what buckyball has done tonight. So far, so good, Mark Wise.
Yeah, share the rock, 3 assists already, 5 turnovers forced, and shooting the 3 ball 50%. That is kind of, I think everybody had the concept that buckyball was only focused on the offensive side.
Right.
But buckyball is about playing 94 feet, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and you watch what Coach Bucky McMillan was able to do at Samford, they didn't just score a lot of points, they got a lot of steals, they forced a lot of turnovers. So buckyball, he doesn't just look at, for example, points per possession on offense. He's big on what you hold your opponent to.
Right.
Points per possession on defense. More on that in a few moments. Meanwhile, a long 3 launched up by Rodriguez on a late clock situation. Isaacs pulls the trigger. He can't find it, and Auburn is off and running. Keyshawn, drive and kick. 3-ball corner is good from Pettiford. All set up by Keyshawn Hall. And Auburn retakes the lead. It's 21-20. Drive by Lane into the tall timber and fouled on the second attempt. He got another air ball rebound, and that set up a foul on Auburn.
Mike, remember the old days when you needed an outlet pass after you get a rebound? Notice Hall goes coast to coast here. Gets feet in the paint, attracts the defender. That is a perfect strike pass. I talk about great passers throw strikes. They don't throw balls. But Pettiford already there in that corner 3, right on the numbers.
Second foul on Elijah Freeman. Meanwhile, here's Jakari Lane, who's been kind of a calming influence for this offense. He's number 1 in the SEC in assist to turnover ratio. He simply does not make a lot of mistakes. There was concern perhaps by some. He transferred in from North Alabama. That's a lower level of basketball, but as Coach Bucky McMillan will tell you, he's been a winner everywhere he's gone.
His career high was 32 against Bucky McMillan at Samford. Do you think that is a, if you can't beat him, join him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of thing?
That'll leave an impression.
A&M, again, they'll mix up their defenses constantly. This is a 2-3. He's got good size with Dominguez out front.
Auburn's hit its last 6 shots. Not that time. Good look for Pettiford. Lane, stop and go dribble, finds a cutter and a bump foul. That's actually a good thing. Otherwise, it would have been a slam and an easy deuce for Rashawn Agee. So we talked about points per possession. And in a day and age of analytics, it's easy to get bogged down by numbers. But here's the goal for Bucky McMillan in every game. Hold the PPP defensively to under 1.07. Offensively, score more than 1.1. And as you pointed out, Mark, that, believe it or not, is a big difference.
Yeah, not only that, but there are a lot of teams who pay attention to the analytics. But when you listen to Bucky McMillan talk about the way he goes into halftime and what he looks at, both offensively and defensively, with those numbers in mind, it's pretty impressive.
It's kind of interesting when you watch all this pressing and trapping by the Aggies. We asked Stephen Pearl, does it remind you of anybody? He said, yeah, my dad, when he coached
that was a great
UW,
answer.
Milwaukee, Southern Indiana, and the first few years at Tennessee, they did a lot of it. That's just a bad pass by Diva. Let's see if Auburn can cash in. Pettiford, too strong, and Dominguez flies in for the rebound. 3-point game. Aggies have led most of the way. Tough shot, off balance. A little bit of redemption there for Diva.
Yeah, Diva had a good game when we had them on Saturday at 12 against LSU. It's only his second double-figure game, but in the last 4, he's averaging right at 10 per.
Yeah, he's been heating up at the right time. So we're now in the conference play, the 18-game grind in the number 1 ranked conference in the net, the SEC. Diva on the other end has it knocked out of bounds, all ball. It'll be Aggie ball. Stephen Pearl, again, one of the 3 head coaches in the SEC, enjoying their first year. Longtime assistant under head coach Bruce Pearl, of course, at Auburn. The news kind of came out of nowhere late in the process, and Stephen getting the job certainly paid his dues as a longtime assistant and learned from one of the best to ever do it in Bruce Pearl.
We had a great chat with him earlier today at shoot-around. Just kind of feels like that Arizona game kind of set him back from a logistical standpoint.
Yeah. Well, they've got 5 losses. 4 of them were the top 10 teams. Not knowing his bearings that time is Holloway as he steps out of bounds. Think about this. Auburn lost to Arizona, Michigan, Houston, and Purdue. I mean, those are 4 teams that are going to be on a lot of brackets for the Final Four in March.
Yeah, they had last possession in that Houston game. How important would that win look now?
Right. Joe Lenardi right now has the SEC tied for the most bids in the NCAA tournament with 10. Great pass down low. Follow-up tip-in is good. That's number 33, Sebastian Williams-Adams, but they'll wave it off and say offensive goaltending.
Ooh, this was close. I thought first look, it just got away from the rim. Yeah, that's a good basket.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, they're going to take a look at this. No, this won't take long, I don't think.
Courtney Green, Byron Jarrett, Todd Austin, our officials today. And I'm with you. This is one. Some of these reviews, when we start looking at who touched the ball last on an out of bounds,
right.
I could look at that for an hour and not get it right.
Yes.
Something like this, I would think, won't take nearly as long.
One more look. Straight overhead. Well, it's really not even straight overhead. I think you can overrule this. Now, I will say this. If Overton hadn't missed the layup, we wouldn't have this issue anyway.
Yeah, that is true. I'm sure Kevin will be thankful that you brought that up. The guy that did get the tap in, by the way, was Sebastian Williams-Adams, a 6'8", 230-pound freshman out of Houston, Texas.
Yeah, his role is kind of defined as getting on the glass and being a screener. He played 41 minutes in that overtime loss at Georgia and did not score. But he's too valuable in terms of rebounder, and Auburn got into some foul trouble early on, and Stephen Pearl, by his own admission, played some guys too many minutes because he was handcuffed in foul trouble.
Well, with guys like Williams-Adams and Murphy, again, Auburn will have a size advantage over the much smaller Texas A&M.
After review, the basket has been counted, and the coach will retain his timeout.
And we're 1 for 1, partner.
It's a new year.
I forgot all the misses you had last year. You see the challengeable calls for coaches. The out-of-bounds one I really liked because I thought we got to a point in the game, Mark, where too many random stoppages of play for inconsequential out-of-bounds calls that, to the naked eye, you couldn't overturn anyway.
Right. 19-point game with a minute to go. We don't need to be checking out-of-bounds.
Yes. Keep the flow going.
But that was the rule at the time.
It
so
was,
that's been changed, and it's a good change.
The flow of this game has been outstanding. Under 8.5 to go, first half.
And here's a rarity.
From the logo, too strong, long rebound, tracked down by Walker. Simon Walker will put on a display against Jackson State, and he's 1 for 1 here tonight. The freshman from Huntsville, Alabama. He was 5 for 5 from three-point land against Jackson State as Clements lost a shoe. He got a flat tire.
How about the bench of Auburn, who's not a very deep team anyway, but the effort that Jovic gave them in his first stint, and now Walker with the little runner.
Nine points off the bench for Auburn to 7 for the Aggies. Texas A&M has been number 1 in the SEC all year long in bench scoring. Here's Holloway going to work. Griffin.
There's that flare screen again.
Under 10 on the shot clock. Great pass into the corner. Wide open shooter, and Deba knocks it down.
Most teams know that hammer action by now and read that cross-court pass along the baseline.
Trying to break the pressure and breaking it with a couple of seconds to spare into the hands of Overton and back out top to the point guard, Pettiford. Around the screen, Walker. Shot clock at 5. Walker. Rise and fire. Too strong. Tapped around, and an offensive rebound for Auburn. And muscling his way to the basket is Williams-Adams.
Know your role.
Deba again. That time an air ball. Pettiford, full throttle. Pettiford all the way and draws the foul. Timeout on the floor. 6:43 to go in an entertaining first half on the Plains. 29-27, Aggies lead it.
2-point A&M lead. Keep your eye on Pop Isaacs in the far corner and Ali Deba in the near corner, because Isaacs is going to dribble drive to the baseline and throw this, what everybody refers to as a hammer pass, to the opposite corner. That's just a good read. That's a good drift by Ali Deba. Good assist, good three-point shot, good offense.
So here's my question. As you mentioned, we've seen a lot of that here lately.
Yeah.
How to defend it better.
Well, passers, weak side defenders have actually done a pretty good job. I don't see that pass getting through as much as we did 3 or 4 years ago. Everybody knows it's coming.
Right.
Now what the NBA has done is they have done, instead of the opposite corner, the opposite wing. Throw out.
Pettiford delivers at the line. He'll get a breather. Coming back in is the freshman Caden Magwood. Pettiford on the bench for the Tigers with 7 points. Good showing from him thus far. Holloway up top. Crossover, and then sets up Griffin. And then a travel. Just playing a little bit too fast is Josh Holloway there.
Everybody wants to catch the ball and put it on the deck. Catch and evaluate.
6 turnovers now on Texas A&M.
Now with Pettiford out of the game, let's see if A&M maybe adjusts and does a little run and jump on Magwood in the backcourt.
Would it be fair to say Auburn has held up well against the Aggies' pressure defense thus far?
I think if you ask Stephen Pearl, he'd say so-so. Because those early turnovers kind of set a tone for the road team.
Hall had his man beat, then almost threw it away. Now he's just going to take it inside. Hits the back iron, gets his own rebound. Hall has it knocked out of bounds with 17 on the shot clock.
I think this pace of the game has taken Hall a little bit out of his rhythm, because they like to isolate him in a lot of different places on the floor. They worked on this today at shoot-around.
Hands it off to Overton. Overton, great defense by Isaacs, blocked it. Return to sender, now 6 on the shot clock. And there's the follow-up thunderous slam by Keyshawn Murphy.
Yeah, I'd like to see Murphy give Auburn a little bit more of that.
He's been quiet so far before the two-hand dunk. Coming up on 5.5 minutes to go, first half.
Auburn does a lot of switching.
Isaacs, pretty drive and a nice bucket. Pop Isaacs, the former Creighton Blue Jay.
Love it when a guard gets in the paint and plays off 2 feet.
Strong take! And a foul.
Oh my
wow,
goodness.
Sebastian Williams-Adams just went to the 10 with reckless abandon.
Get your guard skills on, big fella. Behind the back at 6'8" and 230 pounds. That is what we call attacking the rim.
His mom, Karima, was a prep All-American and the Missouri Valley Player of the Year at Wichita State.
Well, that's good to see if you're an Auburn fan, because Williams-Adams just 46% on the year with the free ones.
That's not good.
That's not good.
As a team, Auburn shooting 72%. And again, both these teams get to the free throw line a lot. It's a big part of their offense. That one barely grazed the iron. 1 point game. Auburn up on Texas A&M. Agee backing in, setting up the defender. Pump fake and walked. Yeah. Agee's claiming he got fouled, but he's not going to win that battle. Instead, it's the 7th turnover on the Aggies.
That's good defensive patience by Auburn that time, late in the possession. Take another look. Hand-to-hand combat down in the high rent district. Murphy wins that battle.
That's just great defense by Keyshawn Murphy. Transfer from Mississippi State.
I'm willing to bet that Stephen Pearl is going, okay, big fella, don't get carried away there.
This guy, on the other hand, has the green light. Shot clock at 8. Magwood lost the handle. Out to Overton with one. Overton, no. And off of the Aggies. I believe last touch by Clements.
I said this Saturday in the game against LSU, A&M makes you take a lot of unpracticed shots.
They do.
They make you run unpracticed plays because the floor is so broken so many times because of the changing defenses, the presses, the double teams, the run and jumps. Well, he can shoot that.
And he can also draw fouls. That's exactly what Keyshawn Hall does. He'll go to the line for 3. Keyshawn Hall, a tremendous story out of Cleveland, Ohio. He's on his 4th team in 4 years. And when I asked Stephen Pearl at the beginning of the year, what is it with this young man? Why was he not more highly recruited? Well, Keyshawn Hall, if you go back to his prep days, was 70 pounds heavier. Take a look at the man on the left. That's the same guy you see tonight. That's at Denver Prep Academy, then UNLV, George Mason, UCF. I mean, he was big, a little bit smaller, but still big, a little bit smaller, but still too big. And he's had tremendous discipline to narrow his weight all the way down to a comfortable 240. 4 schools in 4 years. If you want to forward his mail, Mark, forward it to the free throw line because he gets there as much as anybody.
A bucket getter.
Yes.
A flat-out bucket getter. Well, that's too easy.
A&M with a quick response on the other end, cutting the lead to 2.
I think Stephen Pearl is screaming for an illegal screen.
Comes into Murphy.
See, this is what A&M wants. They want a non-guard trying to handle the ball. And the result is just that.
The result is in my
hands by you.
Thank you very much. Anything I can do. 3:35 to play. Auburn up by 2 here at Neville Arena.
There isn't one thing that makes the SEC special. There are a million different things. The students, the legends, the fans, the passions, the traditions. And when it all comes together, it just means more.
Welcome in. We're going to see you coming up at the half, show you what's happening on Rocky Top between Texas and Tennessee. Also, big win for Florida. What are we seeing here in half number 1 of a tight ball game?
Well, you saw A&M threw out the punch first, and Auburn is now responding by giving them what they were getting the first time.
Better keep that pace up. Coach Mark Wise, tell me what you would draw up if a guy like Mike Morgan had the hands like he has.
Well, first of all, you would have to run a very complicated offense to get Mike open. But here is Mike, like as usual, cutting me off. I was just about ready to get into the shooting motion. But no, Mike Morgan with steal number 1 of 2026. Nice job.
Much like a lot of these Aggie players, I'm hunting threes, and I'm hunting that basketball. First guy to get your hands on it. This has been back and forth all half long. 2 of the more entertaining teams that you'll find. Pace of play at an optimum level. Baseline 3 is off the mark. Griffin with an offensive rebound.
Doesn't Griffin do a lot of little things
that
impacts winning?
He does. As you see, the foul drawn on a great take by Lane. And you and I talked about this the other night with Griffin. He wanted everybody to know he is not just a three-point shooter. That was the rep on him at Alabama. Always a good three-point shooter. And then Griffin goes to Kansas. He has been publicly outspoken about the fact he wants to make winning plays that do not involve just the three-point shot.
How about this? In his last 3 games, he has 12 steals. I think this pressing style of A&M fits Rylan Griffin.
I do too. Yeah, I think he's been able to kind of spread his wings a little bit. What a valuable asset to have. You're talking about a guy who was a starter on the SEC championship team for Alabama back in 2023.
Mike, I think this is a real important 3 minutes for Texas A&M as the road team. They've played so well up to this point.
Yeah, and Auburn, of course, a ton of spurt ability. In 3 minutes, they can go on a 12-2 run at any time.
I've been impressed with Pop Isaac's on-ball defense. ISO.
Murphy, yes! Hangs, hits the harm, and a chance for a three-point play.
Well, when you look at 3-level scores, Keyshawn Hall has to be at the top of the list in the way that he can hurt you in so many different ways. His shooting numbers are spectacular on the year, but take a look at how he scored from the arc, from inside the arc, and at the free throw line. That's very consistent with how he scores on the year.
And this is the 124th free throw attempt of the season. That is the 7th highest in all of college basketball. That is not by coincidence. Back to a three-point game.
This is a small ball lineup for Texas A&M. Dominguez at the 4.
Isaacs tries to thread the needle, can't do it. Auburn gets in the passing lanes and deflects it out of bounds.
They were fortunate there. There was nobody there. That pass went right off Hall's head. Nobody had occupied the opposite corner, and that's almost a guarantee in today's game.
You mentioned Dominguez at the 4. They have to play a lot of 4-guard lineups because they just don't have the bodies down low. Mabako was a big loss for them. Their biggest of bigs, and he's out for the year. Griffin, tough shot. Nothing but the bottom of the net.
A&M's ability to take tough shots and make tough shots. That's dangerous.
Murphy corrals it and slams it.
And what does A&M do after you get a shot at the rim? They counter immediately.
Good contest that time by Murphy. Griffin was looking at a 3-ball. Griffin looking at the rim from long range. Now takes it inside. Shot clock down to 7. Hanging and missing that time is Dominguez. Pettiford whips it over to the wing. Williams-Adams on a triple. Williams-Adams having a whale of a first half, and Auburn has its largest lead.
Just 2 for 9 from bonus land entering the game.
Timeout, Bucky McMillan and Texas A&M, and the crowd ignites. All 91-21, the 77th consecutive sellout at Neville Arena. Loving what they see.
Go back to back-to-back possessions here for Auburn. First on the inbounds. I thought that was fortunate to get through. But Murphy not only finishes, but does so with authority. And then in the ensuing possession, as I mentioned, Williams-Adams just 2 for 9, but make some shots like that, you get to shoot the 3-ball more often. And I talked about this being a important last 3 minutes for Texas A&M as the road team. Well, now it's even more important how they close here the last 85 seconds.
Well, this is what makes Auburn so difficult to defeat in this arena. I mean, here you see a guy, we're talking about all these different weapons for Auburn, and then Sebastian Williams-Adams. Very often it's the bench guys that come through at home, right? That's what typically is the case. On the road, you're rely more heavily on your stars and your starters, but who's going to step up and make a big play? We saw a bucket from Simon Walker, who doesn't play a lot of minutes earlier for Auburn.
I thought Jovic gave him an emotional lift.
Yeah,
with his effort play.
Dominguez wings it over to the left side. Pop Isaacs. Isaacs in a triple team, just had it stripped away. Williams-Adams, alley-oop! Keyshawn Hall on a business end, and Auburn extends its largest lead. 17 points for Hall.
Is stuffing the stat sheet.
No good for Isaacs. Under a minute to go. There's that man. Thought about it.
You gotta let that go, don't you?
Thought for sure he was. Bedford probing, firing. That's a three. Agee rips down the rebound. Aggies can play for the final shot. Who do you like here?
I'm going to find Isaacs. Get him going.
Lane on the drive. That might have been partially blocked. Here comes Auburn on the other end, and a foul called before the light went on. And that would send Auburn to the free throw line as they are in the bonus.
Now they'll check to make sure that the time did not run out on the half, but I'm with you. I thought Pettiford was going to catch it in the air and try to shoot it, and Agee fouls him. Yeah, that foul's going to play, and Pettiford goes to the free throw line.
Well, Auburn gets a bit of a gift. Auburn gets a bit of a gift because I don't think he was going to have enough time to get a shot off, but you foul him with 0.1 or 0.2, and you send him to the line for a 1-and-1.
What a fantastic way to close the last segment of the first half for the home team.
Well, you hit on it. I mean, a key stretch for A&M. You're the road team. It's extremely difficult to win in this building. How do you finish in the last couple of minutes? Well, Auburn goes on a patented Auburn run.
And you need to understand, for everybody in the SEC, when you play Texas A&M this year, more likely than not, it's going to be a game of runs because of the way A&M plays. Their style is conducive for a game that has a lot of runs in it.
Yeah, sometimes you live by the run and you die by the run.
Yes.
And they're going to give up some runs. Oh, they're going to call that on the shot. I'd love to see another look. I'll be honest, I did not think they were going to get a shooting foul here.
Well, not only a shooting foul, Mike, but they're calling this a three-point shot because he left from beyond the arc.
The A&M coaching staff livid as Pettiford knocks down the first of three. I don't know. You think that was in the act of shooting? Pettiford now with 9 points. Again, he did not start the game, but by the end of it, will likely be one of the top minute getters in an Auburn Tiger uniform. This would make it an 11-point. Settle for 10. And the half finally does come to a close. 47-37. Auburn goes on a 12-2 run over the last 3 minutes and 11 seconds. A 9-0 run if you condense it a little bit more, making 4 out of the last 5 shots.
And the X factor for Auburn in the first half, Sebastian Williams-Adams, who just stuffed the stat sheet. He had 8 points, 3 rebounds, a couple assists, and this steal and finish. My goodness, what a play by Williams-Adams.
Hey man, you like Dr. Pepper?
And its unique blend of 23 flavors.
It's a pepper thing. At Auburn, we're committed to providing exceptional experiences to our students. And the Auburn Creed inspires us with a spirit that is not afraid as we tackle the world's greatest challenges. Through excellence, innovation, and hard work, we create intelligent systems, resilient communities, and a safer, healthier tomorrow. And while grounded in a rich set of traditions, our groundbreaking approach motivates us to dream the biggest dreams. Join us at Auburn and be forever changed.
This young man just won himself $5,000. You got to hit a half-court shot. He did it at the buzzer, much like everything else Auburn did in the final couple minutes of the half. Old Cardin is rolling with that $5,000, and Auburn was rolling at the end of the half en route to a 10-point lead. He's Mark Wise. I am Mike Morgan.
I did not win $5,000, by the way.
In fact, you probably lost a couple, but that's a whole other story. Mark, when you take a look at that first half and you take a look at where A&M started, which was awfully good with that defensive pressure, but where Auburn finished it an entirely different way.
I continue to marvel at Keyshawn Hall because he is such an efficient player. He had 17 in the first half. He knocked down a couple of threes. He plays with such physicality, but he only took 6 shots in the first 20. But the difference in the game, I think, they both teams have committed 8 turnovers, but Auburn has cashed in on 14 points off those turnovers, and that +7 differential in points off turnovers, that's why we have the score on the big board.
One of the big stories of that first half, just inbounded it, the freshman Sebastian Williams-Adams. He took everything out of his bag. 8 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He was terrific for Auburn. And Overton picks up with the first half left off a fade and fire deuce. Kevin Overton, who's really played great basketball the last 4 or 5 games now.
Interesting that A&M actually opened the half in a zone.
What does A&M need to do offensively to start getting a better rhythm here?
Well, again, I think their better offense is when they can get some stops. They're having to get the ball out of the net too many times. And for a team that wants this to be a 94-foot game, you cannot keep getting the ball out of the net.
Yeah, I'm not sure if half-court offense is what Texas A&M is really looking to excel in tonight. Overton. There's the size. You can just see it. You know, Keyshawn Murphy, 6'10", 230, just towering over the front line of A&M.
One of the interesting stats was that Auburn so convincingly out-rebounded Georgia on the road the other day by 15. By the way, how about the ending of that game in regulation?
Yeah, I mean, that was Kevin Overton who hit the big baseline jumper to somehow force it to overtime. And it looked like Auburn was destined to win it. But Georgia finished them off in OT. And you were wondering, how would Auburn come back? You score 100 points on the road, you lose. A grueling, heartbreaking loss in overtime. How would they come out here tonight? So far, awfully well.
Well, I think it took them a little bit to play into the game, though. I think A&M's pressure bothered them early.
Here's Murphy.
Mismatch.
Down low.
No need to dribble, just score.
Murphy just missed it.
He had lane on him, all 6 foot of him.
Crossover dribble by Hill, but he lost it in transition. Rocking the rim is Pettiford. 11 points for Tahad Pettiford.
Nice play by Overton, gave the ball up at the right time.
Griffin around the screen. Griffin, leaner, silky smooth shot by Rylan Griffin.
Back to the press. Oh, gosh.
It's just, I mean, you want to talk about barreling in. Williams-Adams, just a runaway locomotive.
2-on-1. Overton gives this ball up at the right time. I'm not a big fan of the bounce pass in transition, but it was the right play. And Pettiford from outside the arc, up on his trampoline.
What did the bounce pass ever do to you? Why would you be anti-bounce pass?
People have a tendency. I'm okay in that situation because there was plenty of floor. I hate it when guards bounce it to the bigs all the time.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to get off your chest here?
No. I've got a long list. The 2026 is barely started.
That's right. Positive mark to start off 2026. Positive performance thus far from Sebastian Williams-Adams in search of his 10th point here at the free throw line. A freshman from Houston. Too strong on the second, and Lane corrals it. A&M has just felt out of sync here on offense for a while.
I think you said it earlier, though. They're not really wired to score on the half court.
Right. Isaacs up top. Clemens from long range.
Now he can make that.
Gets it back. Griffin, we know he can make that, but it rims off. Griffin, a 40% three-point shooter. And then Griffin knocks it away. Into the Auburn basketball. Now, Texas A&M, 3 straight NCAA tournaments under Buzz Williams, and then kind of out of nowhere, Buzz takes the Maryland job. Keep in mind, that did not happen during the normal timetable. So Bucky McMillan gets the job. It's the last Power 5 opening on the board. He gets the phone call. Obviously, it's a dream to get an SEC job coming from Sanford. But remember, with that late in the process, nearly 85% of the top portal players have already left. They've already gone elsewhere. So you're kind of behind the 8 ball getting the job that late. There's an offensive rebound and stick back for Keyshawn Murphy.
Take a look at how little these two teams had coming back from last year.
He had to put it together last second, get who he could find at that point in the portal. And then we mentioned losing Mbopko, your best big man, the transfer from Indiana. They are small. And they have to make up for that with quickness.
And they have to get all those kinds of long rebounds.
Right.
They have to team rebound. All the balls, the 50-50 balls, they have to, all season long, they're going to have to win that battle.
Well, they did it against LSU, but a little bit tougher opponent tonight on the road at Auburn. Dominguez has been rather quiet so far. Need to get him going if you're A&M.
Auburn's done a good job staying tagged to Dominguez.
Isaacs blocked out of bounds and saved. And ahead of the pack, Murphy, or Hill rather, and fouled is Keyshawn Hall. Keyshawn Hall, you've got 2 Keyshots. Keyshawn Murphy, Keyshawn Hall. Keyshawn Hall is your leading scorer. Keyshawn Hall just got fouled again. 15-19 to play. Auburn enjoying an 11-point lead here at Neville Arena. One of the more entertaining games so far in the conference season took place on Saturday. Auburn at Stegman Coliseum taking on the Georgia Bulldogs. Auburn was done. They were done and buried. Down by 4 late in the game, and that man, Kevin Overton, off a missed free throw, down by 2, hit a heck of a shot, Mark.
They were down 4 with less than a second to go when this happened. We've highlighted where Overton starts. Watch him shadow the ball and read it perfectly. Knock down that baseline jumper. That's what forced the overtime. I'm telling you right now, we could put Hall at the free throw line, Overton where he started, nobody in here, and have them try to do it 100 times, and they wouldn't be able to do it once.
Unfortunately for Auburn, that energy and juice dissipated a bit in overtime, and Georgia prevailed in that game. Meanwhile, Hall at the free throw line, a perfect 8 for 8, 104 made free throws on the season. one of the best marks in all of college basketball. He just has a knack. He knows how to get there. And he's got a perfect flick of the wrist rotation. Shooting now close to 90% at the charity stripe on the year. Aggies have struggled on both ends here of late. We talked about points per possession. The numbers do not favor Texas A&M in this game. Griffin to Isaacs to AG on a three. Diba crashing and hitting.
What a finish by Diba, crashing the offensive glass.
Maybe that sparks Texas A&M. Back in the game, Simon Walker. There's that man. And there's three more. Keyshawn Hall with 22 points.
Just great movement without the ball by Hall.
Diba. Timeout. Good call if you're Texas A&M. And not a walk for those thinking that it was. 59-45, 14-16 to play in Auburn, Alabama. Third leading scorer in the SEC, Keyshawn Hall, came in averaging 20, already has 22, and he does it in a myriad of ways, Mark.
Yeah, on this last possession, watch Keyshawn Hall as he kind of just drifts down into the offense, and pay attention to this little misdirection he gives. When the ball goes back to the top of the key, here he goes, I'm going to go this way. Nope, I'm going to get a screen from Pettiford. That's plenty of space. That's good execution. And Keyshawn Hall, 40% shooter on the year from bonus land, knocks down another. And we talk about maybe too often a guy's a three-level scorer. I'm telling you, this dude is a three-level scorer.
Yeah, and wired to score. It seems effortless at times. Nothing seems forced. Not the most explosive guy on the floor, but one of the more difficult guards in the country. Three ball rattles out. Offensive rebound by the smallest man on the floor. That's Lane. Griffin runs into a brick wall. Can't hit the mid-range. Rejected by Griffin. Back out to Freeman. Too strong. And right now Auburn just using its size to dominate the offensive glass. Open three. No. Another offensive rebound. Nobody boxed out the shooter. Inside. And a foul. Too many opportunities for Auburn as Texas A&M could not fend off the Auburn Tigers.
There were so many extra plays in that possession by Auburn, whether you're talking about making the extra pass or tipping the ball out for an extra possession. But Williams Adams, there's two of him on the court tonight.
Rita knocks it down. Well, we've got a quadruple header of action Saturday here on the SEC Network. And the nightcap will be Mississippi State at Kentucky. Mark, so many people want to know about what is going on at Kentucky. I know what is going right in Starkville. Josh Hubbard, if you have not seen that young man, is one of the most exciting players in college basketball.
Maybe elevates on his jump shot, his three-point shot as high as anybody in the country. Epps has been a good piece as a running mate as well. There's Williams Adams again.
Nice pass to AG. Dropping the dime off that time was Pop Isaacs.
Well, here's the benefit of scoring is now you can get a steal. Well, here's a 5-point swing.
Griffin hits the triple and a 5-0 run for Texas A&M to make things a little more interesting here. And out the press gets another steal. Diba. Lane.
8-0.
Triple is good. 8-0 run for Texas A&M in a matter of seconds. And that is Bucky ball at its finest right there.
We talked about this A&M team plays in runs, but because of the little deuce that Agee was able to score in the half court, that leads to the steal. And Griffin with the first of 2 3-balls, and all of a sudden, what 8 points in what was that, like 12 seconds?
An 8-0 run with 2 steals, 1 offensive rebound in 25 seconds.
Yes.
That is Buckyball, folks. Keep in mind, we talked about the situation of how he got the job. Eventually, he'll get his players that'll fit this system. Well, that'll improve the old points per possession a little bit, which was lacking quite a bit before. And in the first half, you see with the goal defensively, hold Auburn to less than 1.07. Well, that was far off. 1.31. That's not going to get it in. Then offensively, the goal was greater than 1.10. Clearly under that mark as well. So everything that Bucky Ball and that coaching staff wants, analytically speaking, did not come to fruition in the first 20. We'll see if they can turn it around in the next 20.
And most of that damage to their numbers in the first half happened in the back end of the first half. And another
steal! And an and one! Holy smokes! A 10-0 run in less than 30 seconds.
This group has been so active. Pettiford tries to come out of the double team. That's a foul in my world.
This could make it an 11-0 run in 28 seconds. When's the last time you saw one of those? 11-0 run in 28 seconds.
Reggie Miller,
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I mean, that'll ever, whenever you see something like that, you think Miller at the Garden. And can you believe it's a 5-point game?
Well, now A&M, they've got the fight of the game back in the middle of the ring.
You've taken the crowd out a bit. So it's more like their pace. Auburn breaking pressure, missed, fall, blocked. Great block that time. That's Federico. Here's Lane measuring a 3. Too strong. Weak side rebound Auburn, and now the Tigers looking to run. Hall bobbled it and out of bounds off of A&M.
Normally we would talk about that not being a good shot, but that's the way A&M plays.
Right. Yeah,
it's an open 3 in transition. He didn't really gather himself. He was kind of leaning.
Yeah, it's 34% on the year. You can live with that.
Auburn was lucky not to turn over that outlet pass.
5-point game, just like that. We'll see if Auburn can respond with a punch of their own. The crowd getting upset because Bucky McMillan was shouting at the defense 5 feet on the floor. Here's Hall, mismatch. Takes it, delivers the swing, and almost a steal. And they're going to call a kick basketball. And that's good news for Auburn because that gets the shot clock from 6 to 20 when we come back. Things have gotten quite interesting here at Neville Arena. 5-point lead for the hometown Tigers. For a couple minutes, you're wondering how this is a 5-point game. It's because A&M went on an 11-0 run in 28 seconds.
Try to keep up. The easy deuce, which led to the turnover, which led to a 3, which led to another turnover and another 3 to make it an 8-0 run. And then right after that, timeout and one opportunity, and that became even a further run. And all of a sudden, Bucky McMillan, his team with that 11-0 run, with 3 turnovers forced, making a couple of 3-balls. And as I mentioned, the Aggies now have the game back in the middle of the ring.
If you're wondering why the crowd is erupting while being on the wrong side of an 11-0 run, they just showed Alex Golish, the new head football coach here. Byron Brown, the transfer quarterback from USF, was just on the floor holding up one of the letter signs spelling Auburn. So some good football vibes in the building, and now Auburn will try to get back to the good basketball vibes.
Offense has got to go through Hall.
Freeman drops the mid-range.
You think Freeman heard me?
I think he took that personally. He does average 10 points. And has been hot off the bench lately. Agee will take that, but he'll miss it.
Only 24% from deep on the year.
11:25 to go here in this one. Hall. Drive and kick. 3 ball from the corner. Misses everything. Nice block out by Agee. Here comes Isaacs to Dominguez. Yes, Dominguez. Silky smooth jumper. Drains the triple, and it's back to a 4-point game.
Elite catch and shoot guy.
It was 16, the Auburn lead. It's down to 4. Pettiford on Agee. This is a mismatch. Crowd is saying take him. Pettiford. Shake and bake. Pull up jumper. No good. And an over the back foul on Auburn. An easy whistle there. Sebastian Williams-Adams went over the back. Pettiford, I think, was so shocked that they didn't switch back and kept Agee, basically the starting center for A&M, on the lightning quick guard. Mike Morgan with Mark Wise here at Neville Arena, the 77th consecutive sellout. It's been a thriller thus far. 4-point game, Auburn in the lead. Isaacs, little bump foul by Overton.
Doesn't seem like a lot, but when the guy's picked up his dribble and you bump into him and knock him to the floor, that's a foul.
Well, and if he doesn't fall, the referee lets it go. But the moment he falls down, the whistle comes. It's the 3rd team foul on Auburn with 10:22 to go.
Auburn needs to stay connected to Dominguez now that he's made a 3.
Comes off the screen, but quickly guarded by Freeman. Lob pass Agee. Working right of the lane. Agee wheeling, pump fake, dealing. Beautiful move. That was just grown man basketball. And would you believe, a 2-point game? It's the closest this game has been since 37-35. Oh! Off the trampoline is Overton. Big response by Auburn. Deba takes it strong. Deba gets it back and gets an and 1. Oh my. Deba, everything about his game is just kind of uncharacteristic, but it works.
Activity first, the patience of Agee offensively to score, countered with Overton in transition, and then lastly, Deba gets his own miss. Now goes to the free throw line for the and 1.
Well, this is a legendary run pulled off on the road by A&M. It started with an 11-0 run in 28 seconds, and it's continued now. A chance to close the gap to 1 missed free throw, and it remains a 2-point game. Freeman. Straight line drive. He got a little help down low on a shield, and the lead swells to 4.
That's part of that attack the press mentality that Stephen Pearl talked to us about today.
That's right. Isaacs bottled up. Federico back out to Griffin. Griffin finds Dominguez, gave up it. Isaacs instead for a 3. I thought Dominguez was going to shoot it, but instead Isaacs delivers, and it's a 1-point game.
The 47% three-point shooter gave it up to the 39% three-point shooter.
Can you believe the Auburn lead, which was 16 moments ago, is down to 1? And then a turnover. Pettiford just gave it right up. 3 on 2. Isaacs for 3. Got it! A&M has the lead for the first time since 6:43 to go in the first half. And this crowd has silenced. Let's see how Auburn responds.
If you have loose possessions against A&M, you are asking for trouble.
Auburn looks a little bit out of sync. Down low and a foul. Just too much size. Murphy put a body on Rylan Griffin, and that is a mismatch.
Griffin is a really good positional defender. he doesn't mind guarding the big guys because he gets around them quickly. That time just maybe a hair slow.
Now Bucky McMillan, who rotates players in and out almost like a hockey team with line changes. They're constantly changing out bodies. He believes that gives them their best advantage to keep everybody fresh. From the baseline, into the leading scorer, Keyshawn Hall. Hall working on Dominguez. Missed it, got it back, missed it again.
And his own guy fouled him. Numbers.
Aggies up 2 with the basketball. Here comes AG. Rebound out to Isaacs on a 3. He hits it. A&M is up by 5 and a timeout called by Auburn. 72-67. Look at that run. 25-6 run for Texas A&M.
Freeman down Main Street with the one-handed flush, but it's been countered. Pop Isaacs has knocked down 3 3-balls lately.
The new pretzel bacon Sonic Smasher. Hand-smashed Angus beef, crispy bacon and onions, buttery pretzel bun, and pub sauce. Together with the Sonic Smasher, they're a new dynasty of burgers. Try it for a limited time.
Gatorade has the #1 proven electrolyte blend, designed to hydrate better than water, so you can lose more sweat and put the league on notice. Gatorade, is it in you?
SEC Network, your home for SEC college football playoff coverage. We're live from the Fiesta Bowl in Glendale, Arizona, with all your semifinals pregame analysis. Followed by a presentation of the Fiesta Bowl with Miami facing Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is on to the semifinal.
Wrapping up with a full breakdown of the game. Join us for all your college football playoff semifinals coverage Thursday on SEC Network and the ESPN app.
In 28 seconds, that's now been expanded to a 25-6 run. 4 turnovers forced during that time frame. And remember the points per possession, what we showed you a few minutes ago? Well, all of a sudden, it looks a lot better, particularly on offense, which went from well below the number now to 1.23 for this Aggies offense that is heated up in large part to this defense.
And the three-point shooting of Pop Isaacs. And he came into the game shooting really well lately, and he's continued that.
Yeah, 4 threes for Isaacs. Meanwhile, Auburn has gone chilly from the perimeter. The Aggies trying to add to a 5-point lead. See the second half threes, 1 for 10 for Auburn. AG drives the baseline, missed it, got it back, throws it up and gets fouled.
You know, we saw this earlier, Mike, with Deba, where he missed his shot and got his own rebound. And now with the big fella, AG, misses his first shot, gets his own rebound. I mean, Auburn's got a gang rebound.
Well, and one thing about Bucky McMillan that he told us, almost every game in conference play, this is going to be a theme where the opponent is bigger and stronger, and they're going to have to be smaller and faster. And sometimes quickness, and even Stephen Pearl was talking about this with us about the way his team rebounds. It's not always the biggest team that wins the rebounding battle. Quickness can get you rebounds.
Quickness can also force turnovers. That's a violation, I think, on Federico. There's no reason to do that.
Yeah.
Kind of got momentum going in your direction.
Cost the Aggies a point. Well, a 10-0 run currently for Texas A&M. 7:23 to go. More full court pressure. You'll see it the rest of the way for the Aggies. Magwood hanging, firing, no. And the follow is no good.
Unpracticed shots.
Now Lane. He is their steady ball handler. Doesn't make many mistakes. And that time draws a foul. Jakari Lane from Huntsville, Alabama. The transfer from North Alabama.
That was a nasty crossover. Lane got his feet into the paint.
A diminutive point guard who actually, in key situations, he's their inbounder. He might be the smallest inbounder in college basketball.
A&M had 7 points off turnovers at the break. They have 12 here in the second frame.
So if you're Auburn, if you're Stephen Pearl here, and you're trying to put out the flames, what's the message to get Auburn back on track?
Make sure right now that the right guys are shooting, and I'm getting the ball to number 7.
Yes.
I'm playing the offense through him.
Keyshawn Hall does have 22 points, but he's been quiet of late. And another turnover, or who's?
I think this is going to be Auburn's ball, but Pettiford is dribbling and not going anywhere.
Yeah. Lane nearly forced another turnover.
See, the crossover was 90 feet from the basket.
Yeah.
Be definitive with your bounce.
Lane just ball hawked Pettiford and almost into another Auburn turnover.
Did all of this happen in a blink of an eye?
Now, Auburn just, Stephen Pearl calling a timeout. I just asked you about the message. I'm sure what he's saying is very similar. Let's have the right guys shooting the ball, and to that last play and some of the others during these turnovers, be more sure-handed with the basketball.
Yeah. You cannot turn it over. And then what kind of quality of shot are you getting? I know a lot of coaches like to think of it as the Olympics, gold, silver, and bronze. What kind of shot is your team shooting?
Texas A&M could somehow steal this one on the road and improve to 2-0 in conference play. That becomes one of the bigger stories in college basketball. And this is a team that was picked in the bottom third of the conference, a new coach, basically an entirely new roster put together somewhat last minute. Another steal, and A&M will get possession, and we'll set, a quick three on the way, and it's sunk by Jakari Lane. He has done everything here in the last couple of minutes.
Auburn's having trouble getting the ball just in the front court.
And then Lane picks up a foul, only the team's 6th foul. A 31-6 run in the last 6:25. I just can't remember the last time I've seen something quite like this on the road against a quality opponent.
All fueled by the pressure defensively by the Aggies. Lane knocks down a 3.
Largest lead for Texas A&M. Crowd has become silent, and Auburn is trying to find an answer.
Now this I like a lot.
And here's your answer. It's Hall.
I think he needs cutters.
Missed it, but the fall is there. And a foul. So an and one for Williams-Adams.
But Hall touches it, and Auburn has a good possession.
Right.
So Williams-Adams is going to go to the free throw line. The 3-point differential, Mike, that we talked about, I mean, it was kind of even for the first 30 minutes. And now all of a sudden, it's plus 15 for Texas A&M. They've made 11. Remember, they average 11.5 makes a game. They're right on target.
The only team in the SEC that shoots and makes more right now is Arkansas. Nine-point basketball game approaching the 6-minute mark here of the first half. Here comes Lane. Into the hands of Griffin. Up top, Agee. Isaacs had the hot hand earlier. Throws up a floater. Pop Isaacs has been on fire in this second half.
A&M right now is just getting whatever they want offensively.
19 points for the former Creighton Blue Jay, Pop Isaacs. Hall, shake and bake. Into the hands of Freeman. Right of the lane, Hall. Skip pass. Around the horn. Shot clock at 5. And a foul call to reach in on Griffin.
Pop Isaacs, as Mike mentioned, has been so good here in the second half. Curls into the paint, one-handed, 1-foot shot. Stephen Pearl. frustrated, as is his whole team right now.
Every free throw a valuable one right now for Auburn.
With 16 minutes to go in the game, did you see this coming?
No, I mean, I think we both were looking at each other like Texas A&M just ran into a hornet's nest on the road at Neville Arena. Crowd was electric. A&M seemingly had no answers for both Keyshawn Hall and really the bigs for Auburn started to impose their will. And then somehow the mighty mites of A&M were able to withstand that and then go on an incredible run.
It all started with the AG deuce, steal 3, steal 3.
Yeah.
That 8-0 in the 25 seconds completely changed the tenor of this game.
No doubt.
Well, now Auburn, a team that has struggled defensively, can they get stops?
Crowd imploring some defense here. Dominguez, yes! Such a smooth stroke, Ruben Dominguez.
As I mentioned earlier, elite catch and shoot guy.
47% from downtown on the year. And then Overton with a beautiful response.
That's a tough two, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Nothing for Auburn has come easy here in the last 10 minutes of this game. Overton now with 13. It's back to a 10-point game. Lane bleeds a little bit of clock. AG with 8 to shoot, looking for a guard. Wants Dominguez. There he is. Defers to Deba. 1 second left. Dominguez has to throw up a prayer, and that's on Deba. Deba had it, and Deba knows it, says, I should have shot it. My bad. He never knew what the shot clock was.
All right, that's part A for Auburn. Get a stop. Good defensive patience there. But I don't know that they're getting quality looks on the offensive end.
And Dominguez taking time to tie his shoe, and now it's just going to go off the court and tie it there.
Maybe a little offense-defensive substitution here.
A 10-point game with 4 and change to play here at Neville Arena. Auburn trying to avoid a rare 0-2 start in conference play.
Here's the zone.
How do you attack it?
Again, free throw line area. The ball's got to get in there and then spray from there.
Another late clock situation for Auburn. There's the look. Hall drives, fires, and draws the foul. He had a head of steam going downhill, and all A&M could do was hack him. 3:52 to go. Unbelievable change and swing of momentum. A&M on fire and trying to steal one on the road on the Plains.
That three-point shooting down there at the bottom. Look at that. That's a plus 18 there. And for the game, A&M, I thought they needed to make 12 or so in the game. They're plus 18 right now in three-point differential.
Yeah, I mean, we can look at this run in different segments. You hit on the biggest part of it. The 11-0 in 28 seconds. I don't care who you do that against. It's going to take their breath away. That was a couple of gut punches.
Yeah.
And it took a while for Auburn to snap out of it because that 11-0 run turned into a 25-6 run and just kept escalating. Hall with his first free throw miss of the night. An empty trip. Wow. An empty trip for Hall, who shoots 87% at the line.
Now that's the way the second half has gone for the home team. I think this puts Dominguez at the line, which is not the guy you want to foul.
Hall with only 5 points in this second half. He had 17 in the first half. He, along with his Auburn teammates, have cooled off here quite a bit, and now with 3:51 to go. Aggies at the line. Dominguez has been money there throughout the year at 90%. When you ask Bucky McMillan what he feels about Ruben Dominguez.
Yeah.
He says, you know what, here's a guy who's used to playing with and against pros in Spain. For him to come over and play some college ball at age 22, he's not going to be in awe of anything.
He's made 3 threes in this game. It's the 11th time this season he's made 3 or more threes in a game. Elite shooter.
12-point lead for Texas A&M.
A&M back to the zone. See, I'd like to put Hall in the middle in the free throw line area.
Overton, tough three with a hand in his face. Flying in is Murphy. Murphy hammers it home, plus the foul.
That's good activity by Murphy because I don't think he was anywhere near rebounding position inside. He just chases this offensive rebound.
If Auburn is to come back and win this game, remember that play.
Yes, good
because
point.
You could just, with that last miss, you could feel the air completely come out of the building here. Now you got a chance to cut it back to single digits. Wow. Too strong on the free throw.
Remember, they missed 12 free throws in the loss at Georgia.
Yeah, 19 of 26 so far tonight, 73% at the line.
Now you've got to have defensive patience late in the clock.
A&M doesn't bleed clock often, and they will bleed a little bit before a turnover. Lane was trying to hit Dominguez, but Dominguez zigged, and he was supposed to zag.
You know, Mike, when you play a certain way, if you start letting the air out a little too soon,
right,
that's not their gig.
It's
no pun intended.
Yeah, it's a great point. It just feels a little bit weird, A&M trying to bleed clock. That's not something they do much at all. Under 3 minutes to play, a 10-point lead for the Aggies. Overton barreling in, missed it, and a nice box out that time by Deba.
It's just hard to get all the way to the rim against a zone off the bounce.
Lane, ordinarily not a turnover guy, and almost, a 10-second violation anyway. So 10-second violation, a turnover on Texas A&M.
I think Bucky McMillan will take that.
Yes.
Because it saved the steal. It was going to be an easy deuce.
It was going to be a live ball turnover, a pick six, if you will, for Hall. So you're right. Instead, Auburn's got to earn it, and Auburn has really struggled here in the half court.
I think 7 has to get a touch.
Now you see him at the free throw line. He gets it and defers. Sets up a teammate for an open three. Kevin Overton from downtown, and all of a sudden it's a 7-point game. Auburn only has 1 timeout.
But every time Hall touches the ball, Auburn has a better offensive look.
Now the pressure in the backcourt from Auburn. And another turnover as Isaacs comes crashing into our boards, and Auburn has forced back-to-back turnovers with their pressure.
What is it about a pressing team who doesn't like to be pressed?
Press the team that presses, right?
Did you notice, though, that they moved Hall into that free throw line area against the zone?
Bucket here, and things will really start to feel different about this game. Hall, easy money right to the lane, right to the rack, and a bucket for the Tigers. It's down to a 5-point lead.
Good adjustment by Stephen Pearl.
Isaacs and Lane playing catch in the backcourt. Now here comes Lane in to Griffin. Texas A&M will try to find a shot here against a tenacious Auburn defense. Isaacs from the logo. Griffin had it. Loose ball. Picked up by Lane. And a fresh 20 seconds for Texas A&M.
There's A&M winning a 50-50 ball I talked about.
Dominguez catch and fire. Dominguez rattles it home. What a clutch bucket by Ruben Dominguez, and that felt like a dagger. 88-80. Was there any hesitation at all by Ruben Dominguez?
His fourth made three ball of the game, but I want you to take a look. When he catches this ball, look how far beyond the arc he is. That's a great challenge by Overton, just a better shot by Dominguez. Late in the clock, my goodness, talk about a clutch delivery.
They felt that one back in Puerto Real, Spain, where the young man hails from and played basketball most of his life. Comes over to the States, signs to play with Texas A&M with a first-year head coach in the Aggies program. And how huge has he been really all season long?
He's made 4 threes. Isaacs has made 4 threes. Lane has made 3 threes. The Aggies have made 13 overall.
He's Mark Wise. I'm Mike Morgan. If you're joining us late, Auburn led this game by 16 in the second half. They were on fire on both ends of the floor. A&M looked dead and buried. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, an 11-0 run in 28 seconds. Texas A&M has not looked back since.
That 3 changes the way the game needs to be played by Auburn. Score quickly and get in your press.
Again, Auburn down to 1 timeout. Who's going to come through with the shot? Rattles off. Hall, top floor rebound. Beautiful lay-in. Had to have it. They got it. It's a 6-point game.
Maybe one trap, and then they're going to have to foul.
Isaacs. And the foul on Lane. Lane, a very good free throw shooter.
I think if Auburn's going to pull this off, A&M's going to have to help Auburn, meaning miss free throws or turn the ball over. And I think Auburn's response here, Mike, will be dictated by Lane. I don't think there's enough time to just trade 2. So if he makes 2, I think it'd be in Auburn's best interest to go for 3.
Lane is trying to make it a perfect 20 for 20 on the season. At the free throw line, he missed it. His first miss of the year.
Now you don't need a 3.
Hall passes up the 3. Driving, gliding, firing, missed it. Got his own rebound, got the follow, and got the foul. A chance for a 3-point play and a chance to make it a 1-possession game. Don't go anywhere.
Take another look. Hall this time gets his own rebound after the miss. Always block out the guy who shoots it. He's the only guy jumping, really.
Federico got him on the wrist on the follow. And Hall missed his last 2 free throws, but ordinarily an elite free throw shooter. 1-possession game with 32 seconds remaining.
Nothing's changed. Trap, denied, trap, then you'll have to foul.
All the way in the front court to Agee. And he's fouled. And that might be one of the better options to foul on the floor for Texas A&M. He's 76% compared to some of the others that are right around 85 to 90.
So you want to be a college coach, huh? It is so hard to simulate free throws on the road.
This is a 1-and-1. He missed it. Auburn can tie it with a 3. Shot clock is off.
Just get a quality look.
Pettiford knocked right into our broadcast station. It will remain Auburn ball with 17.9 on the clock.
They missed Hall early on the ghost screen on the pop part.
Does Bucky McMillan think about calling timeout here? He will not. Auburn does one.
I would make it, again, deny. But this time, when the ball comes in, you're going to have to foul right away.
All 11 for 13 at the line tonight. 88-86, the Aggies lead it. 2 for 2, and it's down to a 1-point game.
A&M, you have to come and meet all passes.
Inbound into Isaacs, and he's immediately bumped and fouled by Williams-Adams. Not much time off the clock, 6.5. So theoretically, no matter what happens here,
correct,
Auburn should have a chance, a one-possession game with another 6.5 seconds left.
Isaac's 74% on the year, 1 of 1 tonight.
Of course, the X factor in all that is you cannot allow an offensive rebound. You must box out. And Isaacs has got a bloody nose. He just got hit right in the face.
Williams-Adams trying to reach for the ball. That's inadvertent.
You're going to feel it when it's Williams-Adams.
They're going to review this just to make sure, but that's certainly not excessive.
Yeah, and certainly
he's trying to make a basketball play.
Correct. I don't think Williams-Adams even had any idea where the contact was going to be when he went for the ball.
It does give both coaches a free timeout.
Right. Right. And if you're Stephen Pearl, that's obviously more valuable here because you're the team that's got to think about what you're going to do to either tie it or perhaps win it when you get this basketball back. A 1-point game. Mike Morgan, Mark Wise. Mark, we have seen a little bit of everything tonight.
My goodness.
What a game.
Remember, this is window number 2
yes.
in the SEC season.
Yeah, each team will have the benefit of the double bonus the rest of the way.
So the first thing I'm thinking, Bucky McMillan, the way he thinks analytically, if Isaacs makes both free throws, I would expect A&M to foul on the way up.
The magical question always becomes when. How much time on the clock when you do that?
I don't think you can do that with the continuation rule anymore. I think you have to do it at mid-court.
Okay.
And don't worry about how much time's left.
Right. Keyshawn Hall imploring the home crowd to get loud here. Isaacs with a season-high 19 points. And it spins around and down. A toilet bowl shot with the flush. Still a one-possession game. Does Auburn use a timeout? They have one in their back pocket if and when they need it. Comes in the Hall, and you called it, partner, the immediate foul by Jakari Lane.
Yeah, I like the early foul, but I don't like it 90 feet from the basket. At least let him get 2 or 3 dribbles up the floor toward midcourt.
Right.
Now the question becomes, does Hall make both shots now? Because eventually, I say yes. Make them both and try to do this all over again.
They do have good experience intentionally missing and hitting a huge shot to tie it and send it into overtime. That happened just 3 days ago. First one is good.
And oddly enough, Overton is kind of in the same spot
he is.
he was in the Georgia game.
Again, A&M much smaller. Are they able to box out here if it is a miss? All looking for his 33rd point. Missed it. And a rebound. Scrum. Jump ball. Arrow to A&M. That might be the biggest arrow, or one of them, for the season for Texas A&M. Could you imagine if the arrow went Auburn's way?
Yes.
They would have a chance to tie it or win it.
Now the officials could look at this from a timing issue. It's A&M's ball on the possession.
You get a look at Courtney Green and Byron Jarrett.
This is all a clock issue, I believe. Don't see.
Okay. 2.7. Added 0.2 to the game clock.
So I would look for A&M to run somebody on the fly pattern offensively, and for Auburn, you've got to be in the passing lane and deny all over. You've got to match up here if you're Auburn. I mean, Hall is not going to do you any good to be at midcourt. Here he comes into your screen.
Again, Jakari Lane, the smallest inbounder perhaps in D1, giving up close to a foot to Keyshawn Murphy in his face. Gets it into Isaacs, and he's immediately fouled with 1.7, and Isaacs with gauze in his nose to stop the blood from flowing. We'll see if he's got ice flowing through the veins on a clutch trip to the line.
Take another look at Pop Isaacs is right in here, and everybody else is going to go long down the floor. And that clears enough space for Isaacs to wrap around and get himself open. That's just a neat little play to kind of create space and let your ball handler find open room.
Pop Isaacs was a scorer at Creighton. Pop Isaacs enjoying his 15th career 20-point game, but a miss on the first free throw. Now you almost wonder, Mark. Well, Auburn's got a timeout, so I guess it's kind of academic. You wouldn't miss on purpose here.
No, but I like the way you're thinking.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's part of your, as a coach, you have to think about all the possibilities.
Right. I mean, I would say with no timeouts, I would be tempted to tell them to miss it on purpose, because by the time you rebound it and get it, 80 feet from the basket, it's nearly impossible to get a shot off. Stephen Pearl is going to have to play this one of two ways. If there's a miss, I would imagine immediate timeout. If it's a make, perhaps a timeout as well.
Here is the only thing I would tell you. I saw NC State a long time ago miss a free throw, and I watched Chandler Parsons knock it in from 75 feet to win that game on the road.
Yep.
And that has always kind of scarred me in that area. So if I'm Bucky McMillan, I am telling Isaacs to make the free throw.
Yeah.
And then I don't think you can foul, though, but this first pass for Auburn must get to at least midcourt if they're going to have any kind of realistic three-point opportunity.
And how about this? They just added crucial tenths of a second. It's now 2.4. That doesn't sound like much, but that makes a difference.
Yeah. And you can see Bucky McMillan go, don't foul.
Now, Texas A&M comes into this game 11-3. A conference opening victory against LSU. That came down to the final possession. This is coming down to the final possession.
This will be interesting with Auburn out of timeouts. Would you roll the dice?
He does. He missed it on purpose. Gonna have to.
Did the ball hit the rim?
Did the ball hit the rim? I don't think it did initially.
If it didn't hit the rim, this will be Auburn's ball, and they'll put time back on the clock.
You know we're going to review this one.
I'm not a fan of the way Isaacs tried to miss that.
I mean, he basically just chucked it at the backboard.
Take another look. Does this graze the... I don't know. It's awfully close.
God.
Oh, here's a better look, maybe.
Wow. Your guess is as good as mine.
Does this ball go to the left? I don't see how you can overturn it.
I don't see it either.
I think the question is, did it graze the rim on the way to the backboard?
Well, let's talk about what happens here if it didn't. Because right now the clock is showing 0.3.
And 0.3 is not enough time for a catch and shoot.
Correct.
So, I mean, Auburn will have to get more time on the clock somehow. There's a look at our start and stop rule book.
But now if it did not hit the rim, then they've got to put time back on the clock.
Correct. It's a violation.
It'd be back to 2.4, and that changes everything in terms of what you can do.
So they're saying, yes,
they're saying it did hit the rim. Okay.
And they put 0.6, so you can catch and shoot.
And they'll inbound it from the side, not the baseline, but the side. But it's still going to have to be a heave.
I didn't think Auburn would have an opportunity at a heave a minute ago.
Yeah. The most important guy starts off here. That's the inbounder. That's Elijah Freeman. And he's got Federico right in his face.
Federico's got to be careful here.
Comes in for the win. Good if it goes.
Got it! He got it! Unreal!
Unbelievable.
Keyshawn Murphy wide open. I mean, he would be the least likely guy I think you would think about this. It looked to me like on first look that this ball is out of his hands, but it is close. Is it still in his fingertips?
Murphy doesn't shoot many, but he is 37% on the year. But that is just a heave and a prayer. And they are going to look at this every way imaginable. This entire second half has been a trip to the twilight zone. From an 11-0 run at 28 seconds for Texas A&M to the way this final minute has expired and somehow Auburn has even had a chance to win it. And if this shot counts, it's an all-timer.
Did he or didn't he?
We're going to look at it obviously again and take a look at the light. Again, the call on the floor is a made basket. Here's your replay.
Yeah, I think it's out of his hands on that look.
Auburn is already celebrating in front of us, but we have not had an official verdict yet. Courtney Green, Byron Jarrett, Todd Austin over there looking and making one heck of a call here. No good! No good is the call. And now Stephen Pearl can't believe it. And the celebration for Auburn is replaced by the celebration for A&M.